Ever since I was little, I have always loved the idea of going to college. When I was 5 years old, I told my kindergarten teacher that I wanted to become a paleontologist and go to UCLA. And I had four amazing role models who inspired me to want that from a very early age. My dad was a teacher and attended UCLA, so that's where my want to go to UCLA came from. My mother is a special education advocate in our local community. My grandmother was a special education teacher when she was younger, and after she retired, she tutored students who were bilingual out of her own home after they would get out of school. And my godmother is currently going to Cal State San Marcos to get her master's degree in special education. And so all four of these role models pushed me and wanted me to better myself and to say, yeah, you can go to college. And little Mia believed it so much that she was going to college one day. It was never a maybe. It was a Mia is going to college. And Mia's going to keep learning. And I've always loved to learn. I was never forced to do my homework or forced to read a book or forced to go to class. I loved being there. And part of that was because of the interactions I had with my teachers and those who inspired me to keep going outside of the four family members who were already such amazing role models. I have been grateful to have amazing teachers who would say, Mia, you're going to college. And I have been in an amazing situation where not only did I love learning and love being there, I had people who loved the idea of me furthering myself. And so going to college has always been a big part of my future goals. And now that I want to become a speech language pathologist, I know that it's a necessary part of that end goal. To be able to get a master's degree and to be able to be a practicing clinician now is the end goal. I love the idea of maybe one day getting a doctorate's degree too. I constantly think about, oh, what if I go into research? It would be so much fun. And I just know that if I even went back to get a doctorate's degree, it would be almost as if I never left school because I love learning and I love being able to keep learning and keep going to school and keep bettering myself. And so with all of this, I have to take a step back and calm down and realize that maybe I won't get into a master's program right away. It might take me a year or 2 or 3 to get accepted. And that's something that is incredibly hard for me to accept right now because I feel like I've always kept the ball rolling. I've always been in school. And if I had to wait another year or another 2 years, it would bring me down a little bit in some way. I obviously want to become a speech language pathologist more than anything, but I am currently entertaining what I call backup plans C and D, where if I don't get into a master's program at all in the next 4 years, then I'm going to try to become a SLPA. And then plan D is if both of those avenues fail, I'm going to continue to work at in and out, which is where I'm currently working just as a job to kind of get me through school kind of job. It's not necessarily what I've always wanted to do. It's something that I enjoy doing because it's a fun job, but it's not something that is aligned with my love of learning and love of going to school and the drive to want to get a higher level degree than just a bachelor's degree. And so I feel like not only would that impact me, but it would impact my friends and family who know me so well and know that I love going to school and I want so badly to become an SLP. And so I think that they would understand too why I would be upset, but they wouldn't understand why I would want to stop trying. And I feel like I wouldn't be able to explain to them why I wanted to stop trying. I think it's just mostly I would just eventually burn out of trying to get into a master's degree program because it is an exhausting process to go through over and over and over again. I had to go to Palomar college for my first few years of general ed because I wasn't able to apply into bachelor's programs right away. I had to wait and I had to think about kind of my next step with getting my bachelor's degree, which is why I'm incredibly fortunate to be in this program at Cal State San Marcos, because it's exactly where I want to be, prepping me for where I want to go. And so I feel incredibly lucky to even have this problem of what if I don't get into a master's program, because I had the ability to get my general education done at Palomar, go into this program at Cal State San Marcos for my bachelor's degree, and even going back further, getting my high school diploma. I received an amazing top quality education almost from the time I entered the school system in kindergarten. And I feel like I am incredibly fortunate for that, because I do feel like we have a huge problem with the school system letting some of our kids down. Right now, we have an increasing homeless population, which is not the majority, but a good portion of them do not have a high school diploma. And we see trends with individuals who don't have a high school diploma that they are more likely to commit a crime, more likely to abuse drugs and alcohol, and are more likely to live in poverty and to not get help for mental health issues that they may have, which is why we also see a huge number of our homeless population also have some sort of mental disorder that goes untreated and can become more severe because it's not being helped. And so a lot of these problems that I see that are currently popping up in the homeless population are something that might be able to be fixed if we had caught them sooner in our education system. We have a public education system that requires students to go to school. They require kids under the age of 18 to go to school from kindergarten until 12th grade. And so we have these public schools for a reason. We have aids for and ways to get them into classrooms, but we don't have this missing ingredient that's preventing them from, dropping out, preventing them from not getting the best top of the line education possible. And I believe that a huge solution to that is having teachers who are top-notch in quality, or having a principal who is top-notch in quality, having parents who are supportive, or just having someone in our students' lives that are supportive of them. I know that not every student who comes into a classroom is going to have unlimited resources to them. But if we can have someone who cares about their students, who cares about their education, and is someone who wants to better themselves, we can make a more profound impact on this student's life. For example, I had a high school teacher who I still am very close with to this day. I went back to her classroom recently to do a presentation for her, and she has always had a class of English as a second language learners. And I was able to go into this classroom this year and see what she does with these kids, and it is absolutely remarkable. You can tell that they are almost best friends with her because she's the only one who understands what it's like for them. She helps them get better at sounds they're struggling with, and they talk about exactly what they need to do to produce the sound correctly. She's doing almost speech therapy techniques with them, and it's absolutely amazing. And so we need to have more people like that who care and want to bond with their students and be able to help them out more than just teaching them the subject and going through the motions with them. She's really just taking a step back and saying, this student has difficulty saying TH sounds. Let's work on that. The student has this problem and is unable to write sentences properly because they're getting their grammar confused. I'm going to work on that specifically with that student. And I know it's not feasible for you to do this in a class of 40 or more students, or even feasible for you to do it and be able to impact all the students. But if you have an educator who is at least dedicated to getting something through. If they're passionate about inspiring these kids, they're able to do more for them. And I feel like that's why my high school teacher was an effective teacher in the first place. She wants to inspire these kids to do better. And I feel like if we are able to have more people who want to inspire others to be better, not only inspire themselves to be better, we'll be able to help out a huge problem that we're facing currently. And so having these people become teachers who are amazing people who want to better themselves and want to better their students, we're able to catch the student who is at risk of dropping out one day. We might be able to catch them before it's too late. We might be able to help them if they have an issue at home or if they have a mental health issue. We might be able to best service them, or we might be able to teach them coping strategies, which may prevent them from becoming homeless in the future. And I feel like our solution to the homeless problem, so to speak, is having an amazing top quality teacher or top quality SLP or a top quality principal or someone who is just enough to help out that student when they first come through the doors of our school. I was recently looking into this quote that I found, which was, "A country is only as good as its artists, scholars, and politicians or rulers." And I found this incredibly important because not only are we defined by our greats, we're defined by who teaches our greats and who is inspired by our greats. I feel like to make a great country and for us to be a truly amazing country, we need great teachers. We need great kids who are constantly striving to make themselves better. And I think that is what will make us a great country.